Bonjour! I'm so excited to share my newest addition to my library. It's the second book in the Princess Lily series, and it's called Princess Lily and the Hair Fairy. Now please join along with me and read this wonderful story. Princess Lily and the Hair Fairy. Princess Lily had been sick for some time, and a few weeks ago her hair had started falling out. Lily had known it would happen. The healers had told her, so she prepared, but it still made her feel sad. Just then, the door opened. Lily quickly reached to cover her head, but a hand fell on her shoulder. "Remember, it's just temporary," the queen whispered. "I think you look beautiful," the king said. Leaning down, he kissed Lily's head, which made her laugh because his beard tickled. "Can you tell me a story?" Lily asked as they tucked her into bed. The queen smiled. "I know the perfect one. Once there was a girl who had to take special medicine which made her hair fall out. Losing her hair made the girl sad, and she threw it away so she wouldn't have to look at it. Then, the next morning, the girl woke up to find a note under the pillow." "A note?" asked Lily. "What did it say?" "Losing your hair is sad, but it doesn't have to be. You may not need it anymore, but fairies do. Leave your hair under your pillow and we'll come and get it." Lily gasped and touched her head. "Hair fairies, really? Do you think they want my hair?" "Why don't we find out?" the queen said. "I had this wrapped for you." Lily held out her hands and her mother placed her hair in them. It had been brushed and beautifully wrapped. Lily grinned. "I'm going to stay up all night waiting for the hair fairy," she said. "I can't wait to see her." Lily tucked the hair under her pillow and propped herself up to wait. She tried her hardest to stay awake, but slowly her eyes started closing. Suddenly, a bright light lit up her room. Lily's eyes popped open. Where was that light coming from? Then she saw it. There in the corner. Could it really be a fairy? "You're real," she gasped. The fairy turned to face Lily. "Oops, I wasn't supposed to wake you," she giggled. "I'm new at this. I'm Nika, by the way." Lily smiled. The fairy seemed so sweet. Seeing her put Lily at ease. "Are you looking for my hair? I have it right here under my pillow, just like in the story," Lily said. Reaching under her pillow, she held the hair out for the fairy. Nika giggled again. "Thanks. It would have been bad if I went home without this. We need it, you know." Lily looked at the fairy. "Why do you want my hair?" she asked. "Isn't that a bit strange?" "Stranger than a fairy that collects your teeth?" asked Nika. Lily had never thought about it that way before. Collecting teeth was strange. "Well, thanks," Nika said, and reached into a pouch at her waist. Then she stopped. "You know, this is your hair. Why don't you come with me to Fairy Meadow? I'll show you what we do with it." Lily could hardly believe her luck. A trip to a fairy meadow? That was amazing. "Yes, please," Lily said, and she jumped out of bed faster than she had in a long time. Nika reached into her bag, pulling out a handful of fairy dust. She blew it all around Lily. Lily could feel herself getting smaller as Nika held out her hand through her fairy door. Lily blinked, the dust blurring her vision. When it cleared, she found herself in another world. "Hi, Lily," the fairies cried as they fluttered past. How do they know who I am? Lily asked, waving back. Oh, we know every boy and girl that is trying hard to feel better. We are always thinking about you and cheering you on, Nika said. Does every child have a fairy? Lily asked. Only those who need us most, and there are lots of different types of fairies. Look, over there are the water fairies. They help keep the lakes and ponds clean. Pixies help grow the flowers. Elves live in the forest helping the trees. Then there's us, hair fairies. We're the ones who make the real magic happen. We collect the hair from boys and girls when they lose it and bring it back to Fairy Meadow. Taking Lily's hand, Nika flew her to a funnel. Fairies flew over it, dropping things inside. This is where the hair goes, Nika said, dropping in Lily's hair. The fairies grind it up really small and collect it down there. Lily followed Nika to the bottom of the funnel, where glowing baskets filled the floor. This looks like fairy dust, Lily said, surprised. It is. You lose your hair because your body is fighting so hard to get better. That makes your hair more powerful than anything else. We collect it and use our magic to turn it into fairy dust, Nika explained. What does fairy dust do? Lily asked. I'm so glad you asked, Nika said. It helps flowers to grow, lakes to shine, and stars to sparkle. Without your hair, the world would not be so bright. Lily touched her head. Suddenly, losing her hair didn't feel so bad. In fact, it almost felt good. Thanks to her and children like her, the world was a beautiful place. Thank you, Nika, Lily said. Just knowing that I'm helping the world, it helps me too. Stepping forward, Nika gave Lily a squeeze. Remember, Lily, you are not alone. I'm here to watch over you. Anytime you want, you can leave a letter to me under your pillow, and I promise I will write back. And when you feel bad, remember this is a place that its beauty comes from you. Now, time to get you home. Lily closed her eyes as Nika blew another handful of fairy dust on her. When she opened them again, she was back in bed. Curious, Lily reached under her pillow. Her hand hit a piece of paper and she pulled it out. It had been real. Lily lay back on her pillow and smiled. The thought of losing her hair didn't feel so bad anymore. Knowing it was being used to make fairy dust, well, that was pretty great. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story as much as I did. If you want some more information on this book, you can check out the links below. Thank you so much for reading with me today.